All right, well, that brings us through to our main presentation for tonight. And that is all about what's happening here in 2025. So let's just bring up the presentation I've got for us tonight. All right, and also using one of my other favorite apps and tools, which is Canva, for the presentation tonight. All right, so what's working in 2025 and what's not? Let's just make this full screen. And as I say, on the way through, if you've got any comments, questions, or a perspective, feel free either to raise your hand or give me a signal somewhere that so I can bring you in, and we can have a discussion about that as well. In fact, I've got you all on my other screen so I can see you. I'll be able to see you when you raise your hand or click the raised hand icon. Let me just bring up chat, or if you want to use chat, feel free to do that as well. I've got that up on another screen as well. Actually, I moved house on over the holidays, so I have a new office and I have sitting in front of about 5 screens at the moment. So just got to make sure I'm looking at the right one. All right, so what's working in 2025? What's not? So first thing is this here. You're either paying time or money to get your presence out there online. So I hear lots and lots of stories from people who are spending lots and lots of time trying to get a presence out there on, say, the social media platforms. And with the way that the algorithms have been going, they've really sort of dialed it back, certainly over the last 12 months. What I've seen is the reach on the social media platforms, or certainly the Facebook, which has been the major one that I've used. I think LinkedIn is a little better, but the reach is around about 3% of your friends and followers actually get to see your posts. So it used to be around about 5%. It's now about 3. And I have noticed that some of my posts get no exposure at all. So they're not actually shown to anyone at all. So what does it mean? It means that you've got to put in a lot more time there to have, or to get, your social media posts out there. Or you need to pay someone to do that for you. There are apps and tools to help you with that, scheduling tools as well. But what we've found here is that we're spending we're having to put out 5 times more content to not even reach the same number of audience that we reached in the past. So if you were to spend some money doing that, then what you'll find is if you're paying an agency to post on your behalf, then you're spending more money to get even less reach. Jeff, you got a question?
More of an answer, Nick. We all the time, we put same as you said, you take an hour to do wonderful content, you'll think it's the best thing you've ever made, and you get 1 like if you're lucky, as you know. But we put it up onto stories, and interesting enough, we get some 5 comments and about another 15 people that sort of lurk and let us know they looked at it. And then I've got a program that we do, software, that goes out and says, hey, thanks for liking our story about a virtual assistant, for example. Would you like to know more about it? Blah, blah, blah. So putting them up into stories is a must, guys. Use stories.
100%. 100%. Thanks, Jeff. And that really is one of the tips for social media, is using stories, or stories and reels. They're the ones that get engagement. It used to be that people would scroll up. These days, they're scrolling sideways. And so sometimes you'll find that people are scrolling sideways and they don't even scroll down. So yeah, 100%. Stories and reels. So there's the problem. How much time have you got to spend on social media? Or if you've got a bucket load of cash to spend, then there are agencies that can help you do that, but it takes a lot more money to do it. So there's problem number 1. Organic reach, it really is decreasing. It is a pay-to-play platform, and we're finding that there is more money going into these platforms in order to get that same sort of reach. You don't have to advertise. There are good organic strategies out there. It's just that the game has changed a lot, even in the last 12 months. So that decrease from about 5% to 3%, that's happened over the past year. and we've really noticed it here. So, and we're pretty active, particularly for this show here every week. We'll be putting out around about or at least 5 posts on every platform every day. So it is in the order of 5 to 15 posts on every platform every day. So think about the time that takes. I've got a team of 2 virtual assistants that help with that. So they create the imagery and they use the content. So we collaborate on the content that goes out onto the platforms. But it does take a fair bit of resource and energy to do that. So I also think having a virtual assistant to help you is really one of those musts as well too. Ad costs. Anyone here advertising, using Google ads or Instagram ads or Facebook ads? Anyone doing that? All right. So for those that are, or even if you're not, the ad costs have been increasing. So they've increased in a couple of ways. One is the cost per click has been increasing. But the other way that it's been increasing too is the reach has decreased again with the ads. So you have to pay more in order to get the same reach that you were getting when you were paying for our ads previously. So you're getting less reach, it's costing more, and yet you actually have to spend that more money in order to get the reach so that you're getting the same volume of leads coming through to your business. So, and what we're finding with ads as well too is people are really sort of thinking a lot harder about using ads, and some of them are decreasing their budgets, which are actually decreasing their reach, which means that they're going backwards effectively in terms of their lead generation. All right. So ads are going up across time as well too. The other thing I've noticed too is, and you've probably noticed this as well, the number of apps and tools that are available out there to use can be a little overwhelming. And it's like, well, which ones do you use? And in fact, it's not just one app or tool that's going to be helpful for you. It's often using apps and tools in combination with each other that really helps to drive your marketing and online presence. So I saw a video this week, and it was on creating short form videos for social media and using some of the AI apps and tools. It was really interesting tutorial. I should have had the link here that I could drop into chat for you. But he was using a combination of 5 different apps and tools. So I think there were 3 AI tools and 2 standard tools there to create the videos that were going up onto social media. So these are little short videos. So one was to do some of the research. He was looking at so this was for ads, so video ads. Looking at the curating the ads that are out there. So a research tool. One was for helping to write some of the ad scripts. The other one was using something like HeyGen. They weren't using HeyGen, but it was another one like that to then create the video itself. The next one was using a video editing tool to then edit these videos. I'll talk about that during the session as well too. And then the other one was then going to post those to the social media platforms. So what we're looking at is the apps and tools that I show you. It's about selecting ones that you can use in combination with each other to help drive your online presence. But there are lots and lots of apps and tools out there. So choosing the tool is often the hardest thing. And how do you stand out in line? So there's the joke there that you have to get onto TikTok and dance in front of on TikTok. You don't need to do that. For those that are not sure whether TikTok is actually a helpful and valuable platform, I do know someone who's in finance. They do mortgage broking, and something like 90% of their business comes off TikTok. So TikTok is a good channel. It just is how you use it. So how to stand out online is all important. And if you think about it, you're either spending a lot of time, you're spending a lot of money. Which platform do you choose? Do you choose all the platforms? How often do you need to post? So that there becomes something that can potentially become overwhelming. Now there is one big elephant in the room, and that is the AI elephant. AI is here to stay. So AI was initially seen as this tool that you can now all of a sudden create a whole lot of content and it makes your job a whole lot easier. One thing I would say is AI is not for generating content. If you're using AI for generating content, you're probably heading down the wrong path. AI is a tool to help you with your content and to help you with your business operations and processes. So AI is here to say you're probably using AI tools even though you don't know it. And if you look in, so certainly large organizations and large companies, you'll find that they're using AI tools from everything from stock inventory, the tills and FPOS machines. You've got AI introduced into those there as well. For video, AI is used in video. So you're looking at like mainstream media. They are starting to use AI to help with production as well too. And so AI is helping to drive down some costs and it's helping to increase efficiency. So AI is here to stay and you are using it even if you don't know that you're using it, even checking out at the cash registers at, say, Woolworths and Coles. There is AI that is used in there to determine things like buying habits, stock levels, when to restock, and what people are purchasing, seasonal stuff. So all of that is happening in some of these large organizations. So AI is not going away. It is something that really is something that is here to stay. Jobs are going to be lost with AI. Some jobs have gone. And you'll find that there'll be new jobs being created with it as well. What's it? The legal profession. So AI is a tool that people are turning to make decisions about legal issues. So whether it's purchasing a house or whether it's a business contract or an employment contract, people are using AI for that. I'm not saying they should, but they are using it. And the legal profession they've got an AI platform, which I know is being developed. And it is being used by lawyers to help them to do some tasks like creating trust deeds, creating settlement deeds for corporate contracts and those sort of things there. So again, it's helping the sort of lawyers to process things quicker and faster. Doesn't mean they're reducing their fees, just means they can do more of it and they can do it quicker and faster as well. So AI is here to stay. You can't avoid it. So in business, you need to think about how can you use it and what are you using it for. Now, I think someone mentioned this at the beginning, voice, I think it was Fred, wasn't it? Yeah, voice and AI, massive. So that there is only growing. So what do we mean by that? So the growth in people searching for things, rather than going to the search engines, but by picking up their phone and saying something like, hey Siri, or hey Google, or hey Alexa, well, there you go, my Siri's going now, and then doing searches that way there, that voice search has just absolutely exploded. So a question for you is to think about how are you going to sort of capitalize on voice search in order to be found online. Now, voice search is still using the content that you're producing on your, say, podcast, YouTube, your website and socials. And so again, you still need to be doing your search engine optimization, but you need to be thinking about it as voice engine optimization. So I don't have an answer for you fully on how to really utilize that, but you need to be aware of it so that you are creating content that's going to be picked up by voice search as opposed to just text-based search. Fred, are you still here, Fred? I'm just wondering whether you had any comment on that based on the fact that you think that that's going to be a large factor in 2025. Fred might have stepped away for a bit. You there, Fred? No, we might come back to Fred. I know he's been working in that area quite a bit. The other area is AI search. So AI search is using things like Perplexity or GPT to do search. So more and more people are turning to some of those tools there. Again, using smartphones or even on their computer, doing their research on those tools and asking questions of some of those tools. So, and if you look at ChatGPT, certainly the later version, I think, which is 4.0, they are bringing in links to websites where it's sourced its information from as well. So again, it's thinking about how can you optimize your content for AI search. Principles are still the same as using it for, say, Google search. So it appears in the Google search results, but also you need to be thinking about how are people speaking? So people speak differently to how they write. So understanding how people are speaking and the questions they ask when they're searching by voice is distinct from, typing it into a search bar. They are different searches. So it's understanding sort of and sort of doing some research about what people are saying when they're searching. So and then creating content to the questions that they are actually asking with their voice. So that there is only going to grow in 2025. Another thing to remember too is information is free. So the age of selling your information is gone. So when people can go and search for information, or again, ask the voice search or the AI tools like ChatGPT, that they can ask for this information and it will serve it up to them. And in fact, it won't just give them a small amount of information. It will download information from a whole variety of sources as well. So if you think your information is valuable, yes, it might be, but they can also get that information for free. It might not be your information they're getting for free, although it is possible, but they are getting the information that you may have been selling. They're getting that for free. So moving away from selling your information is really one of those trends for 2025. So if you can't sell your information, what is it that you are selling? So you need to think about two things. Just because people have information at their fingertips doesn't mean they know how to use it. So thinking about how to monetize the implementation of that information or combinations of information. So I need to be thinking about that in your business if you're in the business of selling information. So just as I talked about earlier on, that apps and tools, it's not just having one app or tool. It might be a combination of 5 different apps and tools. Where you're going to win that game there is teaching people how to use those 5 tools together to produce a particular outcome. So it's not just the information that is there, it's how do they use these tools. So I'm just looking at some businesses here. What have we got? Video. So we've got Craig here, who's a videographer. Again, he's probably working with clients there that are selling information. So again, the content that goes into that is about implementation. The other thing that's important too is community. So we've spent probably a good 5 years in behind these screens here and communicating with people on Zoom and via electronic means. One of the things that is really missing is that community. So people are paying for implementation and community as well. Where do they get to mix with people and share ideas? So and share ideas in ways that are not distant from each other. So you might have heard last year that people wanted to get out more and more to physical events. That was sort of a bit of yes and no last year. Some people said they would, but they didn't. Another cohort of people definitely did get out and wanted to meet and interact together. And that's where networking groups have been really quite, and physical networking groups have flourished is in that environment. But this year, and some good and I'll talk about the reasons why, you'll find that people want to get out and actually physically meet each other rather than just be online. And I'll talk about why that is the case. All right, so let's look at what's not working. 2 things to look at. You look at human behavior. What are other people doing? Just have a look at their behavior and also look at your behavior too. How has your behavior changed? Because that's probably an indicator as to what other people are doing. Sorry, Craig.
Yeah, just tying into what you were just saying there, Nick, absolutely agree. I think where it's at is it's the integration of information. So it's taking disparate information pieces and working them together in a way that hasn't been done before, because that's keeping ahead of the AI tools, because they're currently still struggling with that kind of integration. So that's using, if you like, your common sense or your strategic bent in the industry that you're in, and pulling that information together in meaningful new ways that AI hasn't actually cottoned onto yet. But absolutely, the rest of the stuff you're saying, I absolutely agree.
100%. Actually, and just looking at Clear there as well too in the copywriting area, copywriting I think has changed quite considerably as well too because of these AI tools. And so, the focus of someone who is in that business of producing copy has changed significantly to what it was even, sort of a year ago, 2 years ago. Is that right, Claire?
Yeah, it was really fun waking up to my livelihood being destroyed and wondering what the heck was going on. I think the copywriters were the canary in the coal mine, and we died, but we've phoenixed. So if you'd asked me this time 2 years ago, I was not in a good way. It's been a massive, massive learning experience, pivot. I've upskilled exponentially to be able to help people. My skills are still needed, but I'm just applying them in such a different way. You're shooting yourself in the foot if you're copying and pasting ChatGPT. Still needs the love, but it's a tool that's just changed everything. And I'm okay with it now. I was very hurt in the beginning to be ruled out in the way that I was, but it wasn't just me.
It was your Kodak camera moment, except you didn't go down the track of Kodak camera.
I keep thinking about the people who used to sell Encyclopedia Britannica. And when someone went, hey, there's this new thing, and their hearts would have sunk the same way mine did.
Yeah. So what has changed for you in terms of how you're doing business now?
I have expanded. I was very purely copy focused. Thanks, Dennis, for your comment. Very purely copy focused, and now I have a graphic designer on my team. I'm just offering a much wider range of services. So instead of going, I'll just write the copy, I say, I'll do your strategy. I'll create your social media posts. There's so many things that I can help with. So it's more content marketing than copywriting. But yeah, it was a big learning curve for me.
Perfect. And actually that ties in really well with what Craig was talking about too, is in implementation of information from different sources. So the fact that you're tapping into, say, sort of graphic designers as well, and I dare say sort of web developers, social media people, so that you're giving people a solution to a particular problem. Is how do I get myself out on and be visible and known out there, rather than just writing the words that they're going to use themselves, right? Yep. So if you think about your business, there are aspects of it that are potentially going to change significantly. Call that the Kodak moment, where Kodak cameras, you don't see them anymore because they didn't change from print, sort of film to digital film, and digital came along. Craig.
Now you've got me going off with the Kodak moment, and I've kind of forgotten what I was going to say. Yeah, it's absolutely about reinventing yourself and making sure that you can provide value. A real come home moment for me was the recognition that people didn't want videos. They don't care about videos. What they care about is what's the video going to do for them. And I think that's true for all of us. We need to stop selling what we're doing and sell the outcome that it actually gets people. In hindsight, we kind of knew that. I mean, we've always spoken about the benefits as opposed to the features, but I think it's really become sharp and necessary right now, and especially in my game. And I should imagine Claire's the same.
Yeah, 100%. So that's a really good thing to focus in on, is your business is about outcomes and transformations and selling that there, not selling the thing that you do. So, even I think the bookkeeping industry, they are at risk now, because there are AI tools now that will do bookkeeping. So before it was, being outsourced overseas, to the places like Philippines. Have got teams of very good qualified people out there to do bookkeeping. Now it's AI tools are actually able to do it as well. So if you're a bookkeeper, it's thinking about how do you use those tools to deliver the outcome, and how do you coordinate those tools so that you're able to deliver to clients what it is that they really need. So you're no longer a bookkeeper, you're helping people in terms of making decisions in their business, or financial decisions in their business, and AI tools help you to do that. All right, so you say yes, look at human behavior, look at your own behavior. That'll give you some indicators and some pointers as to what's changing. One thing that is probably important to say too, is that there is a large amount now of distrust in organizations that had implicit trust and authority. So more than ever today. So you think about politicians, I mean, we probably never really sort of trusted politicians, but it was a, there was an element of trust there. So politics and governments have really gone down in terms of trust, just over what's happened over the past few years. You look at large multinational organizations, trust has really been eroded there. And you look at mainstream media. So who here believes mainstream media? The trust in mainstream media has really plummeted again over the past few years as well. So and then we see the rise of alternative media channels, so like alternative traditional media, and also alternative channels as well too. Social media. That has lost a whole lot of trust as well. You may have seen the posts by Mark Zuckerberg, on Facebook, and getting rid of fact checkers, and now sort of trying to realign to the new government in the United States. But during that whole time with all those fact checkers, that has really eroded the trust in some of those organisations. So that really sort of saw an uptick in people going to alternatives and getting their news from alternative sources. But what it means is that we're talking about large organisations no longer have the trust of the ordinary people. So who has the trust now? It is small business, and it's not even small business. It is people that run small business. And so if you think about how people want to connect, we'll come back to that one there. But just remember that, large organisations are not winning the game. You, as a small business, are best positioned to really win the game of business out there, and you've got a whole lot of advantages over some of those large businesses. Even look at the supermarkets as well, and how people feel about the pricing in the supermarkets. I was speaking to someone the other day who said that used to go into the supermarket, coming home from work, and would spend maybe $20 getting stuff for dinner for that evening. He goes in now and it's costing $50 to $60 every time he goes in, buying the same amount of food, but it's gone up about 3 times. So again, trust issues there as well. If you're reliant on a single social media platform, you can no longer do that. You can no longer just be on one platform and hope to win it. You need to be across multiple platforms. Generic AI content that we spoke about as well too. If you are creating content using things like ChatGPT to create posts and blog content in bulk, people can see through all that there. They don't care about it, and why would they read your content that you produced out of ChatGPT when they can go to ChatGPT themselves and ask the same question and get that same content? So just producing content out of those AI models is not going to win any traction for you at all. It's about using it as a tool, not using it as your content. So you need to be producing your own content and using it to help you edit the content, or help you to slice it up into multiple forms of content, or change the content from one media into another. But you still need your original content in there. Social media cannot come through with original content. It will just produce what's already out there and what's already known. And people know how to get onto these platforms and ask anyway, particularly with voice search when they've got their phones in their hands. So no generic content, DM spam as well. So this is where you jump into DM messages. You've probably experienced it as well too. People jumping in there and connecting with you and then trying to sell their stuff. So that there is what you find with that there is that people are blocking those people now. So if you're engaging in sort of tactics that are like that, you'll find that you're going to push your audience away as opposed to attract them. All right, so let's move on to what is working. This is the stuff that if you grab onto this is what will make you successful online for the next 12 months. One thing to remember is new is old and old is new. So things like I got in the mail today a physical card. It was actually a Christmas card, but it was a little bit late. But a physical card. So physical mail is something that's very old. It's gone out of vogue. But you'll find that because there's not much mail, personal mail being sent these days, people gravitate towards that. Think about the experience that people have when they're ordering product off Amazon, Shen, Temu, Alibaba, and they're getting all these physical packages delivered. So the shopping experience, people are going to their mailbox to pick stuff out of their mailbox. So think about what is it that you can send people that is of value that you can use the postal system for. It can be a letter, it can be a card, it can be some lumpy mail as well. So lumpy mail is when you're sending an envelope or a package out to people. That gets opened, it gets traction as well too. So think about what you could do in your business doing that. And there's an old expression there that, Jody, at $1.50 a letter, it is a bit costly for bulk. But let's just compare that. If you think about it costing you $1.50 per letter, and you get a reasonably good conversion rate. So you think about a letter followed by a phone call, and people are going to remember the letter that comes through, particularly if you handwrite the letter, or certainly handwrite the envelope on the letter. Think about the cost for ads, pay-per-click for ads. $1.50 per click is not unheard of. And so, you very quickly can eat up a $100 budget, with clicks at $1 a click. There's $100, there's 100 clicks. If it's $2 a click, that's 50 clicks. So you think about the same budget of $100. If you're putting it into something like, let's say, Post, and you get a better return on investment, or you get a better connection, then that's where it becomes worthwhile doing it. Jeff, postcard into business boxes as well. Yep. But the key thing about letters or physical mail, it has to be something that's of value, and it has to feel like it's come from you. So it can't be just generic. It's got to be something that people open it up because it's handwritten on the front, and there's something in there that is valuable and meaningful for them. So think about what that could be for your business and how you might be able to use that. And there's a good service out there. Anyone knows a person by the name of Greg Smith, who's got a business called Handwritten. He's been a guest speaker on the show before. He taps into that for businesses, and is getting really good results with that there. So check that out. That's Handwritten. So remember I said that there's a great deal of mistrust in government, large corporations, and mainstream media and social media. And what people are turning to is they're asking the question, how can I trust what is being presented to me is real, it's authentic, it's going to work, it's going to do the job that I want, and trust the organization behind it. So the evidence that people have got to form for what they trust is they're looking for a sort of person. So they're looking for you and what you represent, how you show up, how you talk to them. So you'll find that the personal connections are much more important, and people trust people, whereas they don't trust brands. So, you think of, say, Facebook, for instance, people don't, the distrust and mistrust is growing for that there. But for you, people would generally trust a person. If you do what you say you're going to do, and you deliver what you say you're going to do, that's where people are going to spend their money. So they'll prefer to spend it with you as opposed to a large brand. So that's something for you to capitalize on. So thinking about how do you create a good, effective personal brand? Now, personal brand is not your logo, it's not your colors, it's not your, I was going to say letterhead, who uses that these days, it's not your website, it's none of those things there, but it's about personal connection to people. Eric.
Nick, great presentation, mate. I'm keen to get your thoughts or perspective on how you see, what risks do you see in all this digital twinning hype with AI fitting with personal brand and authenticity? It
is how you use it is all important. You can't use digital twinning and cloning yourself in a sales process. So you might use that, for creating things like short reels on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and so creating content at scale, but still your content. But But you can't, for instance, send a video to someone, let's say in an email, introducing yourself as a digital client. Well, you can do it, but it erodes your trust to do it. If people get a whiff that it's not the real you, it turns them off. So it needs to be, you need to be sort of producing stuff or connecting with people, person to person, as opposed to clone to person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So again, that really does come down to how you are using these tools. So don't use it to replace you. Use it to enhance you and enhance your business. At the end of the day, picking up the phone and talking to someone is much better than shooting a video over to them. So videos that can be the next best thing. All right, I've got it, Dennis. The way I look at it is with products, services, companies, people need to like, know, and trust before they buy 100%. And I think personal brand is the same. People need to know, trust, and like to be able to buy off you. Yeah, trust is that really big factor, because people have mistrust some of these large organizations because of what's happened over the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years. The level of trust really has eroded. So buying decisions really are made on trust. So it's important to establish that. And you can only do that with one-to-one connections, essentially. So you might be doing one-to-many, but people need to feel like that you're making a connection to them. You can't hide behind a camera, email, if you want to be successful. So, and you can't just throw stuff up on social media and hope people are going to buy. What we're finding is that less people are buying off that. They're buying more off our personal connection. Excellent. All right, AI in sales won't work. Use AI to enhance. 100%. Yeah, you will get some people that will buy, when they see AI stuff, but most people, particularly if you're talking about high ticket items, if you're talking for something under $100, yes, people are going to buy that because that's throwaway money. If they're spending a reasonable amount of money and significant amount of money, so like over $200-300, then that trust is all important, and AI generally is not going to be able to do it for you. You're going to need to do that, person to person. All right, so here's what's working. Micro influencers. You've probably heard of the term influencer, like social media influencer. What a micro influencer is someone like you in your industry that is the go-to person, because you're the person that is able to organize information, help people with implementation, and bring together a community. But it's in very small niches. So I've got a picture of some tradespeople up here. So a micro niche might be just amongst a specific set of builders that, let's say, work on high-rise buildings that are dealing only with the outside fabrication of the building. That's a micro niche. Another micro niche, if you think about your industry, again, if I come back to who am I looking at on screen? Jeff Summers, who talked about Google reviews. So Google reviews are important for all businesses, but for someone like Jeff to become a micro influencer, he would be working with select a small market segment to work with, and it might be, for instance, let's say real estate agents that work in Brisbane and sell residential houses, not apartments, just residential houses, and work as a contractor to a small agency. That is a micro niche. So someone like Jeff would become very good at not the tool, which is Google reviews, but how to help them to generate more business, more sales, and to be better at what they do. So a micro influencer is where small groups of people gravitate to. So in your industry, how can you be a micro influencer for a subset of the clients that you deal with? Now, it can be a micro influencer for a number of different audiences, but it's speaking to specific problems in specific industries that you're able to solve and give them outcomes. So micro influencers are, rather than the large Instagram influencers, that's what you can be developing. A micro niche, talked about that as well too. A good example of a micro niche, I used the real estate industry before. I have used this example before. It is a real example of a friend of mine who is a real estate agent. And when you become a real estate agent, you get to farm a whole patch. And he decided that he wasn't going to work in a suburb. He was going to work in inner city and sell only apartments. And then when he did that, his income went up. Then he decided to niche down even further and sell only off the plan apartments. He doubled his income again. Then he decided to sell only a particular type of new apartment, which generally was just in one, new construction. And he ended up with, his commissions being over $1 million just by doing that. So that was a number of years ago, but that's an example of a micro niche. So thinking about how can you serve a very sort of defined group of clients, become very good at what you do, bringing in, say, the particular tools, processes, strategies, products that you become very good at and be able to deliver that. Another example is a lawyer who set himself up as a drone lawyer. So he became very proficient at drone law. So that was a growing legal area. He wrote a book about drone law. He set up an organization on LinkedIn for chief pilots of drones. So organizations all around the world, they have a chief pilot, and they're responsible for policy and management of drones in those organizations. So think about a large, let's say, mining company that are using drones. There are laws and regulations around that. So he moderated this group. He is now the go-to person when it comes to drone law in Australia. You think about that. If you're operating drones, or you've got a legal problem or a legal issue with drones, who do you go to? Do you go to the lawyer who does commercial law? Yes, they'll be able to find out about the specific issues that you've got, or do you go to the drone lawyer who already knows it? One of the advantages he said about being in a micro niche like that is that he didn't have to keep going to look up case law and the law around the specific instance. He already knew what it was because he dealt with it over and over and over again. What happens with commercial lawyers is, today they might be dealing with property, tomorrow they might be drawing up a contract, the next week they might be drawing up a buy-sell agreement. So they're constantly having to go to the law and learn what applies in this situation. But by being in a micro niche, you're able to have all of the information at your fingertips. You've done the research. You don't have to keep on looking it up. So what can you become very, very good at in a very narrow field that you become sought after? When you do that, you're able to increase your prices as well too. So you find you'll make more money. You'll spend less time doing it because you don't have to spend as much time doing the research and learning and finding out about things because you've already got that knowledge. What can you do that you can really sort of find it? Doesn't mean you have to be in that micro niche all the time. Like, Tom, he does do other commercial law, but he has just become that go-to person. So micro niches are really going to be important. Micro video as well too. Think about video, long form video on social media platforms. If you're doing lots of that, then it's not going to be as effective as what they call micro video or sound bites. So think about sound bites. There was a study done in terms of people's attention span. It used to be 7 seconds. So you had 7 seconds there to capture people's attention to hook them in. Recently, that's dropped down to 3 seconds. And that's all because of social media and people scrolling through social media. So you've only got 3 seconds to capture their attention before they swipe on and move. So if you do have a lot of content to get through, then you need to think about how can you cut your content up into small micro pieces. And when we're talking about micro, we're talking about things that are 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds long. A minute is long form. So think about short form. So if you think about, and we talk about it as a sound bite. So if you think about TV and radio, they're always looking for sound bites. So you're looking for just sound bite pieces of information. Get rid of all the fluff, just your main point. So so what you can do with that is if you are making video, the editing is all important. So when you come back to edit the video or have someone edit it for you, you're editing out just the pertinent important bits. Now you can stitch all those videos together in say something like Instagram Reels, for instance. and or Instagram or Facebook stories, and you could have one video or one story, one after another. So it's almost like a long form video, but it's all cut up into little short bites. Another couple of tips with it as well too is get rid of all of the ums and ahs in your videos, and get rid of all the pauses and spaces in your videos. So what you have is videos that just go bang, 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 bang. They're very quite sharp. They're fast, and because people have such a short attention span, if you've got longish pauses in there, like longish is like a second or more or half a second, then people flick on. But you want to stop them flicking onto the next video, and you do that by removing all those small pauses in your video. And so it just sounds like things just run one after another. So speed, so there's micro video, and speed is important. All right, so there we are, short and fast. You can even speed up your video as well too. So speed up your speaking. If you do speak slowly, speed it up. People are listening to things on 1.5 times or 2 times speed. So you can speed it up even 1.2, 1.3 times. And that speed there is what people are used to, particularly that they're on social media too. So think about speeding up your videos. Well, don't think about it, do it, because that's what's really going to get the cut through. Podcasting, who said podcasting, doing podcast? So podcasting, 100%. Podcasting is growing phenomenally. As Dennis said, that most people don't get past say 4, 5 or 6 podcast episodes. You need to have commitment to it and take it through. The successful podcasters are people there who are consistent at it and are producing their episode once a week. Doesn't mean you need to be doing it once a week. You can batch it all and so produce 5, 6, 7 episodes of content all in one day, and then you can schedule it out over the platforms. And podcasts don't need to be long as well too. So I do know someone that does podcasts that are 5 minutes long, so 5 to 10 minutes long, no longer than that. So I don't think that you've got to do a 30-minute episode or a 40-minute episode. You don't need to. They can be little short, sharp things. And then and with your podcasting too, that is a great opportunity to showcase your expertise. So you talk about a topic or a couple of topics on your podcast, or bring people on as guests. If you don't want to host a podcast, then think about how can you get onto other people's podcasts. Podcasters are always looking for guests. So have a look through the podcasts that target your audience, and look at and ask them to be a guest on their podcast as well too. So podcasting is a very effective way of getting to other people's audiences, particularly for a guest podcast. And if you've got something to offer as well, and ensure that you've always got something to give away at the podcast. It's not there for you to pitch and sell. It's there for you to offer value, for people to get to know you. And again, it's increasing that trust factor as well. And you do get to have the podcaster, or the trust the podcaster has with their audience, rub off on you by being on their show as well. So if you can find a podcast a month to be on as a guest, absolute winner. If you want to publish your own podcast as well, that there is even better, because then you can curate the people that you want to speak to as well too. Or it could be just little short, sharp tips on podcasts as well. And don't ignore YouTube as a podcast channel as well, even though they've closed down their podcasting part of it. You can, if you do your podcast as videos, then you can upload those to YouTube as well. Email is not dead. So if you want to cut through, email is one of the most effective forms of communication and marketing still today. So I don't think email is dead. Anyone that has subscribed to, like on my website, which is smashgo.co, you'll see at the top there is a download up there for lead magnets, something about how to create an effective lead magnet. Anyone that joins that list there, my CRM is set up to deliver them a message or an email every single week, which sounds like quite a lot. So I spent the time to write those emails. But here's the interesting thing about it, is that I get emails back from people like 3-4 months in and longer. So if you are not communicating regularly, so the way that's set up is they download the product, There's 2 weeks worth of daily emails that they receive after they download it, which is directly related to the publication I've got there. And then every week after that, they get an email, again, still related to that download, but they get an email every week. And some of the emails have a call to action to come back to me, others don't. But what happens is that over the course of 12 months, if you do that, you appear in their inbox every single week. And so one of the principles there in terms of developing trust is that you're giving people information that's going to be helpful and valuable to them, and they get to see you quite frequently as well. So that happens on autopilot. I don't have to touch it. It's just there, but yet it generates business and response from it as well. So, and a key thing to note with it too is that your emails are not there to sell. Your emails there are to provide value and outcomes to people, or help them to answer questions or to ask questions, so they come back to you and ask for more. So your sales happen in the conversations that you have with them. So email is 100% good. Okay, so what response platform do I use? Look, there's lots and lots of CRM platforms out there. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management Tool. Lots of them out there. I happen to use one called Go High Level, which does a whole lot of things. So if you want to find out more about that, just hit me up. Happy to chat with you about that. All right, snail mail, spoke about that there, the importance of snail mail, so definitely that. The phone, believe it or not, picking up the phone and talking to people is getting the cut through now too. So people, you'll find that people use text messages or SMS messages, instant messages. But if you jump onto the phone to people and have a conversation with people, there's nothing better to build trust and build connection than a phone call. Try it, because it is the exception now rather than the rule that people have those phone conversations. Sometimes you won't get through, sometimes you will. If you don't get through, one little hack that you can try is you send people an SMS message. Say, this is Nick, just calling you. I'm calling you in the next minute to have a quick chat. What happens then is that, and this is AI at work again too, is that when you then ring the phone, and I'm using an iPhone, I think the Androids do it as well too, the phone says something like, this may be Nick Cree calling. So it's already made that connection. And so when people see a name there as opposed to just a number, then they're more likely to pick up the phone. So there's just a little hack. Send them a quick message beforehand and then make the phone call. So these are old school things, but these are what's working today. In terms of events, retreats. So retreats are what, particularly if you're working with corporate and larger organizations, they want their workforce to get out of the office and out from behind tech. So retreats are well worth looking into. I've seen retreats on cruises, which have been quite successful. There was one that happened in January. But you'll find that there are, and so we're not just talking about sort of retreats for health and wellness, although they've always been there. But we're talking about corporate retreats there, where you take people out of their environment, take them away from tech, and help with their personal development or business development there. So think about retreats if that's where your business serves. Essential apps and tools. The number one tool that every business should have is a CRM. So as I mentioned, I use Go High Level, but there are lots of them out there. There's Entreport, Keep, MailChimp, Aweber. Just a word on CRMs too. Your CRM is not just a platform to send emails, although it will do that, but as an information for you to tag and segment people and to deliver them information that they are interested in, not just general information. So CRM should be able to deliver quite specific information to people that they actually want based on what they've asked for in the past. So if they've downloaded a lead magnet from your website, accessed a course, visited a particular page on a particular product or service, then your CRM should be able to determine that that's what they've done. And then you're able to send them information specifically on that there. So having personalized information is really important, and it's more important than just sending out general blanket emails. So gone are the days with just your general email newsletter. Now you're thinking about, what are people interested in? How can I give them that? All right. Okay. What else we got? Lead generator, you do need some form of lead generation tool, whether that is a traditional lead magnet course, program, whatever. You need to have a website. Now, a website can be one page. It can be just a landing page to deliver a solution to people or an outcome to people. But having a web presence is important, and that's a credibility builder too. So again, people, if you've got a website, that's more credible than your social media presence. ChatGPT, you need to learn how to use these AI tools to help you in business, not to do your business for you. So that there, it has been an essential tool for us, and we're developing our prompts with it, and we'll be teaching some of these prompts to help you with your business operations and content over the year, because it's so important. Smartphone, everyone's got a smartphone, so that is an important tool. So that's where your camera is, it's where your video is. And if you've got two smartphones, like an old one, set one up in the corner of your office so you can make videos quickly on questions that people ask you. There's no better way to build up a frequently asked questions base by recording those and uploading them to a YouTube channel. Obviously, you need your social media accounts, even though the reach has been dying away and the ads have been becoming more expensive. You still need to have those social media accounts to build up your personal brand so people get to see you regularly and often. So having a social media and marketing strategy is important so that you are seen across a range of media on a fairly consistent, regular basis. So we're not just talking about, say, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, also talking about things like YouTube as well. And then you throw into the mix your emails as well. All right, so this model here is a model that I have used over and have developed over a number of years to where it is today. But I will talk more about this model on another time. But this is what is going to be helpful for you to be successful online. So what's next for you? Anyone wants to have a look at your 2025, what's going to work for you? Have a discussion about that. Feel free to book a time with me. More than happy to have a conversation with you about your business, the apps and tools, the outcomes you want, and how you can be using some of these tools and some online apps to be successful in business. So that is the end of my predictions, that the tools and what you need to be successful in 2025. Any questions at all? Or any comments on it? Derek says, I just had to duck off, wanted to flag how referral partnerships are working right now. Referral partnerships where you are in with either collaborative businesses, that there is definitely a strategy you want to be thinking about. I think Claire touched on it there as well. When you've got AI tools starting to take over some of the landscape of what you do, you need to think about how you collaborate with other people in order to deliver an outcome that is comprehensive for people. All right, always hard to know what to start with, 100%. If you've got any questions about that, or you want to have a chat through, where you do start with it, it can be a bit overwhelming. I know that I give, 5 tools every week. Which ones do you actually use? It does come down to, what does it want to achieve in business, and, how can some of this help? So if anyone wants to have a chat about that, as I said, feel free to come through and book one with me. Jeff.
Yeah, Nick, 2 things. Can you drop your link in the chat, please, to make it easier for everybody? Because if it's in the chat, we can save the chat.
Thank you.
That's number 1. And number 2, have you in the past, or do you use WhatsApp as a marketing tool?
I haven't used it much, although I have used it in some contexts with others. But yeah, that one there is a little used marketing tool which is starting to come up. I think you're obviously using it, right?
No, I'm just starting. I'm going to go all in on that as well. You can't be everywhere, as you know, but I'm looking for new channels with Facebook and everything else diminishing. You've got to keep looking for new channels, and I just thought that's a interesting one to get my tribe, so I can just maybe not sell them stuff, but tell them things like, hey, my podcast is on tomorrow, or, Nick Cree show's on tonight, whatever. You know what I mean? So put my tribe there.
Yeah, so WhatsApp group, I see that, well, certainly the ones that I'm in are equivalent to like Telegram. So Telegram, we've got groups. So they are focus groups of clients, people that are interested in what you do, or your followers, where you can easily communicate. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, 100%. I think no matter what social media tool you use, if you add value, that's the best place to start. 100%. So it really is all about value and outcomes. How can you improve people's lives or give them what they want, or the outcomes they need? All right. Any other comments, questions? Excellent. Well, probably now is a good time to save the chat. If you want all those links that are in chat, I've dropped in the link if you wanted to have a quick catch up with me as well too. Feel free to book that. This session will be up on the Smash Go YouTube channel tomorrow afternoon. It'll be around about tomorrow afternoon. If you haven't subscribed to it, just go to the YouTube channel, which is in chat now. So you can just click on that, click the subscribe button. If you click the bell that comes up after subscribe, you'll get a notification as soon as we've uploaded that video. Feel free to share it with anyone else. If you've got any comments about it as well too, feel free to add some comments or your take on things in that YouTube video down the bottom as well too. So interested in your take in this as well too. And of course, we've got the Business Owners Smashing It Online Facebook group. If you're not a member of that, now's a good time to go and join that as well too. All those apps and tools will be up there sort of over the next week or so, plus all the past ones are up there as well. Next week's topic, we have someone who has a no-code app. He's an Aussie guy. He's going to be talking about sort of how you can build some solutions with this app, and it's for anyone. So no-code app. So we often talk about apps and tools. He's actually the developer of this, and he's rolled it out through Queensland Health, I think, and a couple of other organisations. So if you're in business, there's some good opportunities for you to use this, not only for you and your business, but think about how you can apply this with clients as well too. All right, well, that is the first session of Business Owners Smashing It Online for 2025. Thanks, everyone, for coming along. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to share this out to anyone else that you think might be interested. Invite them along as well, too. And look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. Have a good evening.